Hi, my loves. I hope that you're good. I am going to possibly rant today because I've had a little scrolly scroll of the socials, and boy, are there some people out there trying to make this fat loss at 40 and over really complicated for you. And so today, I really want to break this down into some really simple steps for you that you can follow if you want fat loss over 40, and really focus on like the easy wins and the things that you should be doing. Because in my scrolling today, I've seen you need to focus on your gut health first. You're not going to lose any weight until you focus on your gut health. You need to sort your cortisol out because your cortisol is blocking your body from burning fat. If you're taking this kind of HRT, you won't lose weight because this HRT won't let you lose weight. If you're not taking HRT, you can't lose weight. Like all of this stuff. I've seen so much stuff on social media in 10 minutes. And it made me so cross that I needed to jump on and record this. So here we are. I'm going to break this down into the most simple forms. Now, I think my last podcast was about how I'm going to lose 5 kilograms before summer. The thing is, this is my job. I recognise that in lots of ways, I am not normal. And I don't yes, clearly I'm not normal. But when I say that, I don't mean I'm special. But what I mean is, I've been banned for the gym for the rest of this week since Tuesday, and that feels really uncomfortable to me because I am used to training 4 times a week. I'm used to running once a week. I'm used to doing cardio, throughout the week. So I realise that a lot of these things come a lot more naturally to me now because I've been doing this a long time. So maybe me explaining how I'm going to do this is not relevant to you, or perhaps not starting at the level that you're starting at. So here's how we're going to do this, okay? The first thing you need to know about fat loss, and by the way, very little of this information will not translate whether you are 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 or 30 or 20, right? Most of this is going to be relevant to you, but I'm actually not even going to go into the tweaks you might need to make. I'm just going to give you the simple facts, right? And then if you want some more help about how you can tweak this to be relevant to you, come and find me. My contact details and my application form are in the show notes. Come and have a conversation with me and I'll see how I can help you. Anyway, let's break this down. The first thing you need to know is you must be in a calorie deficit in order to lose fat. That is true whether you are 10 or whether you are 100 or whether you are however many years in between, right? That is true when you are born, right? If a baby loses weight, they come and weigh them, they're like, oh, they've lost too much of their body weight. That's because they're not taking on enough calories for the amount of calories that their body needs for them to, put on weight. So you need to be in a calorie deficit. Does this mean you need to count calories? No. Is counting calories a good idea? Some form of tracking is a good idea, because if you are eating similar things every day and you are not losing weight, maybe you're staying the same, maybe you are gaining weight, you need to reduce the calories that you are consuming and probably raise the calories that you are expending, right? I'm not going to go into the whole rules of thermodynamics here. You can chat GPT rules and laws of thermodynamics and it will tell you, but you need to be in a calorie deficit. So that means you need to be eating less. Okay, a great thing to do is for a week. You don't have to track on MyFitnessPal. It is a great tool. I know some people don't like it and they think that it takes loads of time, but a really great thing to do is for a week or even 5 days, write down everything you eat. Okay, and don't guess the amount. So if you have some porridge, weigh out your oats, right? Weigh out your oats and write it down. Honestly, don't tell me it takes too much time. You put your electric scales on your counter, you put your bowl on top of your electric scales, and you pour your oats in and you weigh it, right? You can literally have a scrap of paper with you at all times. Write down everything you eat for a week, 5 days even, okay? And that will help you to get your baseline right. That's what I'm eating. How can I reduce it? You can use a calorie calculator, and I have a calorie calculator on my website. You can go and find that if you want to. Or you can ask ChatGPT to work out your calories for you, right? Because they're not a secret. They're not a secret, but there might need to be some tweaking there. Now, whatever you do, unless you are a particularly short woman, don't just go and eat 12,000 calories, because for the majority of you, that will not be enough calories to eat, okay? That's where the nuance is. So the first thing you need to do is be in a calorie deficit. And like I say, you can do that by tracking your calories. You can do that by just trying to reduce your portion sizes. You can do that by using a hand portion sheet, or just by reducing a couple of your snacks a day if you're quite a snacker. Okay, so that's the first thing. You need to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose fat. Second thing, you need to be eating enough protein. You need to be eating at least 100 grams of protein every day. And that's not 100 grams weighed out of chicken breast, by the way, because the amount of protein in a food is not necessarily the amount of food that weighs. Okay, so you need to be eating a good amount of protein at every meal. I would say a minimum of 25 grams of protein at every meal, right? So that's like a medium-sized chicken breast is about 30 grams of protein, but you need to be eating protein with every meal. So your next thing is, if you're reducing your snacks, eat your protein. Right? Make sure every meal is based around protein, and ideally every single snack is based around protein. If you aren't sure what protein is, again, come and contact me. Type it into Google. You will see. But what you're looking at is your meats, your fish, your vegetarian and vegan substitutes, dairy, eggs, protein powder, Greek yogurt, protein shakes, things like that, right? These are your protein sources. Base your meals around those. So number 1, calories. Number 2, protein. Number 3, fiber. Not enough people talk about this, right? I said at the beginning, I've read people are complicating this by talking about gut health and stuff like that. I'm not saying that these things aren't important. I'm not saying that your gut health isn't important. I'm not saying that you are that you shouldn't be managing your stress, right? I'm not saying that those things aren't important. They absolutely are. But you know what? Just going and learning how to manage your stress, if you're not in a calorie deficit and you're not doing all of these other things, that is not going to make you lose weight. Starting HRT is not going to necessarily make you lose weight. All of these habits need to be in for you to lose weight. So fiber is not talked about enough. Fiber is important for lots of reasons. It keeps you full. So the things that are fibrous, so we have vegetables and fruit, you have whole grains like oats, like rice, decent quality seeded breads, all of those things, they have fiber in them. Avocados are great for fiber, right? There's different kinds of fiber. I'm not going to go into the science of the 2 different kinds of fiber now, but there are different kinds of fiber. You want to be eating at least, I've just put my hand all over my glasses, you want to be eating 25 to 30 grams of fiber every single day, right? So not only will it keep you full, but it is really, really important for the health of your gut, for your digestion. Those we are drastically under eating fibre, drastically, and it increases your risk of things like colon cancer if you don't eat enough fibre. But the inclusion of that fibre from lots of different sources then leads on to the fact that you will often then increase your types of whole food. Okay, and that's the next thing, is fruits and vegetables. Okay, so we want fibre, we want calorie deficit, we want protein, we want fibre, we want fruits and vegetables. Okay, I want you to be eating colour. Half of your plate should be colourful. It should be fruits and veggies that are colourful. Okay, they can be cooked, they can be steamed, they can be raw, they can be roasted. I don't care. Just eat them. Five different kinds minimum a day. Okay, that's what you should be doing. So that's your food. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is move your body. Okay, I'm not going to even tell you what exercise to do. I'm not overcomplicating this. I just want you to move your body. If you don't get many steps in a day, I want you to increase your steps every day. Right, that will be just one of the best things you could be doing for yourself. If you're not regularly exercising, you're maybe, once a week or twice a week, and then you don't, and then you do. I want you to be exercising regularly. I want you to be walking every day, and I want you to be doing some kind of exercise that you enjoy, that gets you moving, that gets your heart going 3 times a week. Right, if you don't know where to start with that exercise, send me a message and I can help you. But do something that you enjoy. And like I say, if it is just moving your body for a walk, that's a great place to start. A lot of my clients just start with walking, and that's okay. I'm not even giving you a step count here. If you barely do any walks and you start doing a 15-minute walk a day, that's amazing. That's a great place to start, right? So we've talked calories, we've talked protein, we've talked fibre, fruit and veg, and moving your body. There are loads of other things I could tell you to do, right? I could start talking about sleep, I could start talking about water, right? But they're the 5 things. They're going to give you your quick wins. If you want me to tell you another one, then I would say improve your sleep. As a perimenopausal woman, improve your sleep. If you're sleeping fine, make sure you're drinking enough water, 2 litres a day. But these are the things that are going to change the game for you. Yes, HRT might help you because the symptoms that you're getting from perimenopause might make doing these things really difficult. And believe me, I know, right? But stop overcomplicating it. There are so many influencers out there who are making this so complicated for you. They are just drowning you in all of this information when actually what they could be doing is just really setting you up with those stabilizing basic habits and you would get the same result. But they're giving you this shiny solution by dressing it up in cortisol and gut health and all of this, and they don't need to be. They're just making it more confusing. So they're your 5 things. They are your 5 things that are going to help you to lose weight in perimenopause or 40s and above. And actually, they're going to help you at whatever age you're listening to this, because they're the habits you need to follow. So stop complicating it. It doesn't need to be this complicated, okay? Let me know how you get on. Check the show notes for additional resources from me, and I'll speak to you next week.